Welcome to our latest event, IoT in Healthcare from Innovation to Impact. My name is Vaya Zralia. I will be your host for the event today. So let's have a look at the agenda. Let's see what we have planned for you today. We are going to explore what we are doing with IoT in the healthcare space, but first we will have a quick look at our purpose here at Vodafone, as the work we are doing with IoT is really transforming lives. We will then dive in straight in and meet some of the fantastic people we have here at Vodafone IoT, and they will share their insights and stories on how IoT is transforming the healthcare landscapes, from drivers of change to use cases and the platform that is powering it. What we hope is that this event will inform you on how Vodafone IoT's connectivity solutions can meet the unique demands of the healthcare sector, driving innovation and improving outcomes for patients and providers alike. We will have the opportunity to answer any questions you may have, either about Vodafone and what it's like to work here, or on any of the topics you will hear today. You can drop your questions at any point throughout the session at the Q&A box, and then we will answer as many of these as we can towards the end. So what is Vodafone's purpose? We have a short video that nicely sums it up. So here at Vodafone, we believe connectivity is a force for good, and it is an essential part of our lives. If we use technology for the things that really matter, it can improve our lives and the world around us. One such example is IoT and the impact it brings on healthcare. Before we go and introduce our speakers today, I wanted first to let you know who is Vodafone IoT. Vodafone IoT have been pioneering the IoT connectivity for over 30 years and launched our own managed IoT connectivity platform in 2010. Can we move to the next slide, please? Our solutions enable connected cars, medical equipment, and smart energy grids, enhancing efficiency and sustainability. Specifically, Vodafone Group estimates that more than half of our connections directly enable customers to reduce their own emissions. We estimate we have saved for customers about 116.5 million tons of CO2 emissions since 2020. With expertise in low-power cellular technology and 5G, we provide connectivity across 760 networks in over 180 countries. And as a result, we have been recognized as a leader in the Gartner Magic Quadrant for managed IoT connectivity services worldwide for the 11th time in a row. We are really very proud about this recognition and achievement. To give you an idea of our size, Vodafone IoT powers over 250 million connections worldwide, transforming industries from healthcare and transportation to energy and manufacturing. Actually, the device that achieved the 200 million milestone is a healthcare monitor, a monitor that provides doctors with vital information about a patient's cardiac health and certain vital signs remotely. So to give us more insights into this space, we are joined by three brilliant speakers today: Michelle Gardiner, Lucy Redding, and Cecilia Piao. Hello, ladies. Can you please introduce yourselves?
Thanks, Vaya. So hello, everybody, and thanks for joining today. My name is Michelle Gardiner. I am an IoT Market Insights Manager at Vodafone IoT. And I've worked for Vodafone for 3 years now. And prior to joining Vodafone, I was an industry analyst, so analysing the telecom sector and specifically focused on IoT over the last 10 years. And I was an industry analyst for 25 years, so quite a long time. And I'll hand over to Cecilia to introduce herself.
Hi everyone, I'm Cecilia Pião, a Billing System Manager at Vodafone IoT. I lead the team that is accountable for design and implementation of secure and scalable billing solutions. I have been working in telco companies for more than 15 years now. Joined Vodafone IoT in 2016 as a test manager. After that, I moved to a strategic and planning team for the technology area. And for the last 5 years, I had the pleasure of manage the billing team. It's really a pleasure to be here today and to share with you how we at Vodafone IoT, and in special on technology, support healthcare. And now I pass to Lucy.
Thank you for having me. I'm Lucy Redding. I'm a Global Sales Campaign Manager within our IoT sales team. I've been within IoT for 4 years now, and we focus on looking at different verticals alongside our market insights, marketing and sales enablement teams to try and support the customers in those spaces. Before that, I actually joined Vodafone on the graduate scheme, so I've moved throughout in various roles and ended up in IoT and stuck here. So pleasure to be here. Back to you, Via.
Thank you to Michelle, Cecilia, and Lucy. So let's start with you, Michelle. What are the drivers for IoT in healthcare?
Yeah, thanks, Via. So in my role as a market insights manager, I work with our product managers, our sales and marketing teams, strategy and technology teams to bring relevant data and information so that we can use that data and information to develop our products and to support our customers. Now, there are a number of different areas that we look at, and we're going to start today with some of the key trends. And we look at these across different sectors. Today, we're focusing on healthcare. And we look at these key trends and challenges to help shape our strategy and inform our decision making. So let's start with aging population. In many countries, healthcare systems are under pressure to address the needs of an aging population. The World Health Organization estimates or has said that between 2015 and 2050, the proportion of the population over the age of 60 years of age is going to grow from 12% to 22%. So that's a fairly significant growth. And if we take into account chronic diseases such as diabetes and cardiovascular disease, this is also a growing problem. And again, World Health Organization, they estimated that 43 million people died as a result of these diseases in 2021. So what does this mean for some of the healthcare systems? Well, they're really under pressure to provide relevant care and treatment for a growing number of patients, but often with very limited resources. And this is where IoT comes in. IoT connected devices enable healthcare professionals to monitor patients remotely, regardless of their proximity to those healthcare professionals. And they can ensure that patients receive the right care and treatment. And that decreases the pressure on those finite resources, such as clinics and hospitals. Then the next point is around reducing costs and waste. And you may be aware, you've seen it on the news, many countries are experiencing a steady increase in healthcare costs. In high-income countries, it's been estimated that average healthcare spending is around 9% of GDP, and that's increasing year on year. And that's the average. In some countries, it's actually much higher. So as such, the healthcare system, the budgets and resources are overstretched, and they're looking to deliver treatments at a lower cost. Another challenge is wastage. So global pharmaceutical suppliers face persistent challenge of safeguarding temperature-sensitive products, medicines and vaccines, for example. And the independent climate consultancy Carbon Trust has estimated that 35% of transported medicines are spoiled each year. And that's creating a waste of around, they estimate, $30 billion because it forces the distributors and the manufacturers to replace those medicines. So we take these sort of challenges and pain points into account, and we help our customers build the business case for IoT, demonstrating how mobile devices can reduce the costs of delivering healthcare. So, for example, by monitoring the condition of healthcare products, such as medicines and vaccines, when they're in transit. And then we'll look at things such as the impact of new technologies, which are advancing healthcare, advancing patient care. So obviously, we look at mobile technologies and what's happening in our sector, but we also look at other technologies such as AI. Now, in mobile, we'll analyse the impact of the latest generation of cellular, for example, 5G, and how that might support healthcare devices, especially those devices with higher bandwidth requirements. And of course, mobile connectivity in general ensures that healthcare devices can be used flexibly, providing the coverage wherever they're needed, be it at home or on the move. And we also build our product to ensure that devices can be shipped and used anywhere in the world. And we look at other technologies, as I mentioned, such as AI and robotics, which are playing a big part in the healthcare industry. AI is increasingly used to learn behaviour patterns and detect anomalies, and that, of course, could be very relevant with regard to remote patient monitoring. And there are lots of new capabilities, such as AI, on the devices themselves that can benefit from connectivity. And then my last point on this slide is on data security. And that, of course, is critical for the healthcare industry. They need to protect confidential and sensitive patient data. Healthcare professionals also need to comply in a highly regulated market. So as more and more connected devices are collecting this personal information, it's essential that patients can be confident that their data is secure. And mobile networks play a critical role in ensuring that sensitive data is transmitted securely between patient device and the medical back-end systems. So they're just some of the trends. If we move to the next slide, please. So we also analyse market intent and the propensity for enterprises to adopt IoT. And we often use enterprise survey results to build our demand side analysis and help shape our strategy. So we work with a number of external analyst companies to complement our own internal research. And I'm showing here a sample of a survey, an IoT survey conducted by an analyst company called Omdia. And healthcare was one of the sectors they looked at. And the survey revealed that 32% of the healthcare companies surveyed in the European market will be spending over $5 million in 2025. And that's up from 14% who said they would spend that in the 2024 survey. So one takeaway that we can use from this data is that the benefits of IoT in healthcare are becoming better understood, and as such, spending is increasing. So that's really sort of good data that helps us build a picture of demand. If we go to the next slide, please. So what we also need to do is understand how things might develop in the future. Understand the rate of adoption of IoT by the sector is an important factor, of course. And we assess how quickly the market might grow, what's driving the market to grow, what barriers might stop the market from growing, so that we can look at solutions to overcome some of those barriers. And again, we use some external sources, and I'm showing here a forecast by the analyst company Transformer Insights. And they're predicting that for remote patient monitoring and assisted living, connected devices will grow to around 120 million devices globally at the end of their forecast period. And this is very useful data. But we also build our own forecasts internally, and we use both quantitative data, such as historical adoption rates, for example, but also qualitative data to build scenarios on how the market will develop. So armed with both the internal and external insights, our teams can make decisions about new technologies and new products to support and enable our customers in the healthcare sector. And on that note, I'll hand back to Vaya.
Thank you very much, Michelle. So the healthcare sector really needs to improve first patient care and improve the outcomes. They need to drive operational efficiency, and they need to make sure that their data is secure. Lucy, how our Vodafone IoT's connectivity solution meet these unique demands of the healthcare sector? Can you give us some insight on the use cases we see?
Yeah, sure. So just to reiterate Michelle's point, there's clearly a growing importance of IoT within healthcare. And from a sales perspective, we take what Michelle and the market insights team give us from an external perspective and look at what we're seeing with our customers. What are their problems? Where can we answer them with connectivity, and where can we find similar companies who have similar problems, and we can try and support them as well to help to build that holistic picture of what the company's needs are within that vertical. And I mean, connectivity is very broad. We could also relate this to other verticals as well. But as you can see on the slide here, we can support a wide range of solutions, even just within healthcare. If I take remote patient monitoring first, which itself is quite a broad term, we're often referring to the remote monitoring of chronic diseases like heart issues or diabetes. And both the healthcare providers and also the patients can benefit from cellular connectivity because it's both reliable and secure. It can help to better the patient care and also optimize time spent. So less time is needed in pre-scheduled appointments, and issues can be detected early in real time so that they can be addressed as and when they happen. An example of this would be with pacemakers. So by connecting pacemakers, you're able to both see the performance of the heart and also the performance of the device. So you can find real-time alerts on if there's any issues and detect them early. Michelle also mentioned that healthcare providers are constantly looking at new technology advancements, particularly to try and optimize their costs. So if I look at telemedicine or telecare, there's many companies at the moment that are deploying or exploring the use of tablets and other smart home devices for digital consultation. And cellular is really well placed here because you can use something like 5G where you have higher bandwidth to support with video consultations, which reduces the need again for people to go to in-person appointments. This is a better user experience all around by using cellular as well, because we're not relying on the patients in their home to connect the devices to their Wi-Fi. It's much easier to deploy for those healthcare providers because they're already connected at the point that they're put into somebody's home. If we look at assisted living, this again very closely links to the point Michelle made around aging populations, particularly in developed countries. Let's look at how we can support elderly in living independently for longer and to improve their quality of life. Good example of this would be with detection pendants, which try to connect cellular because they be mobile. They need to connect the persons moving around within their homes or also outside of their homes. You want both the healthcare providers, friends and families to still rest assured that if that individual does fall, you will be alerted, or if there's a potential risk of there being a fall, you'd be alerted without worrying about where that person actually is. These are all more patient-led examples of us using cellular connectivity, but we could also look higher up the value chain of using connectivity to support healthcare companies. For instance, within supply chain monitoring, we can use IoT SIMs to track and deliver drugs, basically. And we've got a quick example of where we've been working with a company called Controllant, who are a leader in digital monitoring of pharma supply chains, of how we've been connecting their data loggers. So if we could move to the next slide, please.
Delivering medicines globally with minimal waste is a challenge for the pharmaceutical industry. With Vodafone Business IoT, we have been able to develop solutions that help tackle those issues. We started the company in 2007. It involved developing wireless sensors in a difficult environment. We were sure that we could use the technology.
The problem that we at Controllant are solving today is the immense amount of waste in pharmaceutical supply chains. The problem is caused by a lack of real-time monitoring, which means that during transportation, a rise in temperature will go unnoticed, meaning medicines and vaccines will be spoiled on arrival. Supply chains are very global in nature, and for that we need a partner that has that global connectivity to work together.
Vodafone is, in my view, in the forefront when it came to IoT. They helped us to gain global agreements and connectivity. So on every single device we have a SIM card from Vodafone, and that guarantees that the device is able to report condition and location of products that are fragile at any given time. Our cloud-based platform allows our customers to watch everything in real time, to reduce operational inefficiencies. It allows them to even reduce their carbon footprint during distribution. We are responsible for all of these devices. We quality check them, we recharge them, and we calibrate them, and then we deliver them back. And therefore we create a closed-loop ecosystem of 100% reusable devices.
Sustainability is part of everything we do. We have a 99.9% success rate, proving how the power of this partnership has delivered positive impact.
We've been looking at the impact of using Controllant connected data loggers. We found that the avoided emissions compared to the industry average waste was a reduction of 53 kilograms carbon dioxide equivalent. And this is approximately 15% of the life cycle emissions of a box of vaccines. So what that really means is a total of 16,700 tons of carbon dioxide avoided for the deliveries they made in 1 year. Waste has no benefit, and the innovations like Controllant can be rolled out across many different types of supply chains in many different ways.
I sometimes reflect on where we started. The first version of the product, we sold 1 unit. And here we are 20 years later, where we have hundreds of thousands of them in almost every part of the world. Having a global, reliable connectivity partner like Vodafone, having a network that is secure from an IT perspective is key. Without that, we wouldn't have been able to succeed.
So I think one thing to help bring this to life a little bit of what we've just seen with Controllant as well is the very real reality that we all faced with COVID, where all of us, I'm sure, were looking at our phones, waiting for alerts of when we were going to be able to get our vaccines. And it just highlights the importance to make sure that those deliveries of the vaccines need to be kept at the right temperature so that global pandemics like that can be dealt with at scale and quickly in order for the world to open up again. I'm now just going to quickly talk through another example of where we've partnered with a healthcare company. In this case, we were providing them a full connectivity solution. This highlights that within Vodafone IoT, we actually, as well as our connectivity, have a whole host of a portfolio of devices that we can provide the customers alongside our connectivity to help them with their solutions. And in this case, they needed something that was going to be affordable, fast to deploy, and with a reliable connectivity in the background, just as a given. In this case, we were able to reduce long lead by providing them with routers. And again, as I mentioned earlier, these at-home care solutions really benefit from cellular because there's no Wi-Fi or setup needed by the patient, which means they're much more reliable and easier to scale. Our customers can benefit from our reliability and scalability thanks to the teams that work in the background, maintaining and developing our architecture and solution. So I'm going to hand back to Vaya now.
Thank you, Lucy. Such amazing examples of how cellular connectivity is a force for good and an essential part of our lives. Let's look now under the hood of Vodafone IoT. Cecilia, how does our technology
So we two sides of technology. We have the visible technology, the devices and interfaces that patients and healthcare industries use, like the ones mentioned by Lucy. The wearables that track vitals, remote monitorings providing real-time data, and the personalized care tools. These are transforming care, making it more proactive and patient-centric. But beneath that, we have an equally critical layer: secure cloud platforms, scalable databases and solutions, and reliable infrastructure. This ensures data integrity and performance. Without it, the visible innovation won't be possible. Let me show you how at Vodafone IoT we support innovation in healthcare. Next slide, please. Our technology and products are built in three pillars. We are the IoT connectivity platform. On connectivity, we adopt network technologies like 5G, LPWA, and satellite that support on ensuring better performance, security, and scalability for the growing number of connected devices. For example, with 5G, we enable millions and millions of connections in the same area. With hardware, we offer a number of devices and SIM technologies like Global SIM that provides access to over 760 networks worldwide and is available in multiple formats. The iSIM that is embedded directly into the chipset during manufacturing, and the eSIM that enables remote switching between network providers over the air, removing the need for a physical SIM. All of our IoT devices are tested, pre-configured, and ready for secure and seamless integration with our management IoT platform. So on the platform, we offer global network coverage with ready-to-use SIMs, digital and IT applications from SIM order until billing. We offer a self-service portal that empowers users to manage the full connectivity lifecycle, customize SIM configurations, and maintain full control over their services. UI and APIs, data analytics, and a managed service framework. Healthcare is a high regulatory industry, much like connectivity, so security and compliance are never afterthought for our technology teams. Across every layer of our IoT architecture, our architects and engineers embed security by design and ensure regulatory compliance from SIM provisioning until platform operations. Next slide, please. So our customers count on Vodafone IoT to deliver secure, scalable, and high-performance digital solutions. This includes quickly launching new features to the market, secure data exchange, scaling service to meet growing demand, and ensure that we maintain high availability. With this slide, I want to give you a glimpse into the scale and complexity of what we manage and operate in IoT connectivity. So behind these numbers, we have a cross-functional team where product owners, Scrum Masters, software engineers, testers work together to do new features, continue to change. Enterprise architects, cloud engineers, they to accelerate cloud migration and ensure agility and scalability. Data engineers handle billions and billions of data records, billions of API calls, while monitoring logs and metrics to maintain reliability. And finally, our architects, software engineers, and security engineers define our long-term technology strategy to ensure compliance, scalability, and resilience. Together with this ecosystem, we are able to enable and to make sure that Vodafone IoT is a trusted technology partner in the future of connecting healthcare. Over to you, Baya.
Thank you very much, Cecilia. So if we can move into the next slide, why is IoT important for healthcare? Let me summarize for you. In a nutshell, it is due to the flexibility, security, and of cellular IoT networks that can do much to help transform today's healthcare systems and allows to connect equipment or track assets without needing to install new cabling or Wi-Fi infrastructure. It can connect devices and apps that remotely monitor the health of patients during their daily lives, even while they are on the move. And it can do all of that while offering end-to-end security built into the technology with all data encrypted by default and guaranteeing uninterrupted connectivity even in the most remote locations. So I hope that was what we discussed today was very useful for you all. We will now open the floor to questions. We already have some in the Q&A. Please feel free to add more. So let me. I think the first one is for you, Cecilia. Which security and safety controls have you implemented to protect IoT in healthcare from bad actors?
So we have security, as I mentioned, in every step that of everything that we develop. So from SIMs, where we implement security and we ensure that our data is secure when connecting with the devices from the customer. From technology, on the invisible technology, as I mentioned, where we have steps to ensure security on the everything that we deploy, everything that we build until we go to production. So security is a key thing that we done. Be secure.
Thank you, Cecilia. The next one I think is also for you. What is for someone in the early stages of IoT, or what skills are required to be an IoT developer or an architect?
Yeah, so we look for technical skills as expected. So we look for specific language, specific skills in terms of cloud providers, IT, but we also gave a lot of importance to the soft skills that we have, that the resource should have. So we look for resources that are able to learn, that are aiming to grow in the organization, and that can adapt to any type of technology and any type of change that we need to make.
Okay, thank you very much. Then the next one is, what are the challenges to provide IoT for healthcare comparing with automotive? Michelle, maybe you can start with this.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, it's an interesting question. I think it goes back to a little what I'm saying in my presentation around my part of the presentation around customer needs, and really making sure that we understand the pain points, the challenges that the customer is facing. And of course, they do differ by sector. So very often we have we have our portfolio, if you like, of different network technologies, different SIMs, different platform features and so on that Cecilia has talked a little bit about. But it's being able to which of those customer needs and mapping those very, very clearly. We have an expert team of sales and IoT architects that we bring in to make sure that the customer requirements are fully understood, and we can use those different technologies in our portfolio. I think sometimes, there are commonalities across the different sectors. If you think about automotive and healthcare, 5G or 4G and 5G are often good fit for the types of devices. Sometimes they will require what we call voice over LTE, so we have to look at that. There are certain types of healthcare devices, especially in telecare and assisted living. So quite often there are similar technologies being used, but it's how they're being sort of tailored to the customer requirements.
Thank you, Michelle. Next question. How is Vodafone securing IoT health devices at scale while ensuring compliance with UK regulations like GDPR and NHS DSPT? Cecilia or Lucy, I think that's one for you.
I can give my perspective on it. So I think that our Vodafone branded devices are certified. We know that healthcare is, of course, a highly regulated market, but also quite often we find in these cases that our connectivity doesn't need to be certified because it goes into other, like the customer's devices, which then get certified. So it really depends on what point we're adding the connectivity and what the needs are. Of course, if we're selling our connectivity with devices as well from our portfolio, then there's that need for them to be certified. But I think Cecilia also mentioned a lot of the security protocols we have in place with our connectivity anyway, which lends itself quite nicely to the healthcare use cases.
Thank you, Lucy. Next question. That's one for you, Cecilia, I think. I am an IoT architect developer, and I have been working in IoT in the Azure and AWS ecosystem since 2015. I'm interested in joining Vodafone IoT. How do I join your team?
We have a number of open roles at the moment that you can apply in our website. And the cloud resources are something that we are seeking always. So go to the website and look for Vodafone IoT, something on cloud for sure. As I mentioned, we are also doing a transformation and moving things to cloud. So you have to join the team. Sorry.
Thank you, Cecilia. Next question. In the UK, who are your main customers? If each of the different trusts, how do you prioritize it? If private, who have you partnered with? So I think one for you, Lucy, although there are some pieces of information we can't share, as you can imagine, due to confidentiality, but yes.
Particularly correct answer here, so apologies for the person who's asked this, but in general it depends at which point they're adding the connectivity will depend on who we're selling to. So whether it's the medical device manufacturers, the solution providers, or to the NHS directly, we can sell to all of them. It really just depends at what point they're connecting the device. So if it's the end-to-end solution in the end that we want to add the connectivity into, or higher up the value chain, I can't offer you any examples of customers, unfortunately, but hopefully that
what are some of the challenges you have had to overcome, and what were the lessons learned? Who wants to take this one?
I can start if you like. So I think in terms of offering global connectivity, and if you think about healthcare devices, many of the suppliers are global and devices to be working wherever. And so offering global connectivity is something that Vodafone IoT can do do very well. And what we have to take into account in terms of challenges is that some markets are regulated in terms of connectivity. That may mean that devices are not allowed in some countries to permanently roam. So then we have to look at solutions on how to overcome those regulatory conditions to make sure that we can meet our customers' needs. So there's quite a lot that goes on in the background. And again, I bring this back to the different teams we have working on it. We have a regulatory team that look at this very closely, and we're always making sure that we comply and we help our customers comply. And I'd say that is, a fairly big challenge for the industry as a whole.
Okay, I think we have another question, which I think is really good, actually. This is for you, Lucy.
It was really good, to be honest. I think that it's a really good idea to get onto a graduate scheme if you don't really know what you want to do, because it's a good experience of trying out a few different roles. I know that I really benefited from trying out different things, and not just finding out what I enjoyed, but also finding out what I didn't enjoy as well. I found that within Vodafone as well, the managers can really push you forward and give you ownership to things and really help you to grow. So, I mean, I've stayed in IoT for 4 years now. They can't get rid of me. I've moved around a little bit within the sales team. It's, it's an always I would highly recommend.
Thank you, Lucy. Okay, there are actually more questions coming, so I'll continue because we have time. And the next one is for you, Cecilia. It's multiple questions, actually. So let's start with the first point. How do you monitor the IoT traffic? What sort of analytics do you put in place to ensure the IoT use cases are being satisfied and the user end is getting as much quality as possible?
I'm a billing manager. I'm not analytics, but we have analytics reports. So we have different reports that can be customized per customer. We ingest billions and billions of data daily, and of course we use this data to provide insights to our customers, depending on what they want to see. At the same time, and I know that now AI is a word that is over there and that everyone is using. We are also using AI because considering the amount of information that we have, we are putting our AI tools to support on getting the insights from the data that we receive until operations to support, as mentioned before, of support on security, to support on the operational work of our customers, and to try to reduce costs on their side. So analytics is a quite active stream that we have under IoT, and we have a lot of. In terms of technology, I cannot share, but yeah, it's the ones that are in the market, and that.
So the second part of the question actually is about AI. The rise of AI adoption across many endpoints. How much traffic do you anticipate getting from existing and new use cases in the next 5 years? Do you see such demand across the United Kingdom? Michelle, I think that probably is one that you can help answer.
Sorry, could you just say the last bit again?
So the question is about how much more traffic do we think AI adoption will bring over the next 5 years? We are ready to satisfy this demand across the United Kingdom.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So of course the answer is it depends. It always is. But no, it's as part of our sort of forecasting is the impact of And the sort of more the when it comes to looking at how that will impact is the time frame. So at the moment, I think it's still in many of the sectors that we look at, it's still quite nascent. The use of AI, it's slowly being introduced into some of the devices and so on. So I think in terms of it will ramp up over the next 5 years, and it will differ by. So we will be ready for that. I mean, our networks teams and our technology teams are constantly looking. It's something actually that Via and I work on quite closely. So we're constantly assessing that, and it will have an impact. I can't say exactly what impact in the next 5 years, but it is growing already.
Thank you, Michelle. And the third part of the question, do you have failover for your devices, the user end, such as failover from mobile broadband to maybe Wi-Fi options or any other medium, especially with the sensitivity of the healthcare use cases? So is this something that Lucy, Cecilia, one of you can take?
Can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Do you have failover for your devices, the user end, such as failover from mobile broadband to maybe Wi-Fi options or any other medium, especially with the sensitivity of the healthcare use cases?
Yeah, so I can talk about the fact that yes, we have we want to make sure that all our systems are reliable and high and always available. So we have we focus on getting failover solutions, and the network is part of Vodafone. On Vodafone network strategy, we also have this kind of failover solutions. The way that we do failover for network solutions, I cannot answer, but is part of our strategy to make sure that we have always a way for the customers to reconnect that is not affect and high availability. And the numbers that I share, you can see that our focus and what we are providing to our customers is 99.9% availability. So this is always our focus.
Thank you, Cecilia. Yes, so just to add, we always look at the requirements from the customers, the use cases, and if there is a need for failover, that will be provided. We don't see, I suppose, a lot of requirements for Wi-Fi failover. I don't think this is considered as a failover in the use cases we see. But it is an option if a customer needs. And as I said, depends on the requirements. Okay, let's see. There have been some more questions actually that follow up from security question. What role does Vodafone platform play in enabling real time threat detection and response across connected health systems?
Monitoring in all our solutions and logs, so we try to make sure that if there is any threat and any security concern, it is highlighted right away.
Thank you, Cecilia. I'm in the space of cybersecurity, data analytics, and I would love to work with Vodafone IT. I suppose great news. Please go online and apply. We have roles that are relevant to cybersecurity and data analytics. What is the typical battery lifetime for Vodafone IoT devices?
I can
suppose it
mention
depends again.
Exactly.
What is the connectivity used.
Exactly.
Yes.
And even the team technology that you use. So LPWA is one of the benefits of LPWA is the fact that improves the battery lifetime and brings these benefits to our customers. So there is multiple things affecting the battery, but one can be the use of the right SIM technology for your device.
Thank you, Cecilia. IoT is extremely beneficial in making this impact in healthcare. How do you ensure that with the current infrastructure, we can scale to support these systems and have people who could take these challenges in order to deliver the required value-based outcomes?
So there are two questions. So in terms of scalability, the selection of products that are scalable, the selection of infrastructure that allow us to scale, vertical and horizontal, and make sure that our technology can scale to process the amount of data and information that we require. In terms of resources, because I think the question has two parts. In terms of resources, is to make sure that we have the more skilled people in the team that can support on this transformation, making sure that we have a high performance solution and a high performance platform.
Thank you, Cecilia. Benjamin, we will contact you after the event. We can see your request. How is Vodafone adapting its commercial models for IoT health solutions to meet the diverse needs of global healthcare systems, including flexible billing and scalable deployment options? I think that's for you, Cecilia.
Exactly. Is what, as I mentioned, so our architects and software engineers are looking at what we have in the market in terms of scalable solutions and scalable even the billing solutions, and making sure that we have something that allows as an organization and sense. At the same time, we have a very skilled team in our organization that does also, and some of our products are built in-house, that are also able to create our own products, our own solutions, to make sure that we have the availability to answer to what the market is asking.
Thank you,
I hope
Cecilia.
that I answered the question.
And I think that's it with questions. We have just 4 minutes left. Thank you very much, everyone, for engaging with us and all the questions. Before you go, if you're interested in hearing more about life at Vodafone and the great things our teams get up to, please follow us at the social media channels. If you've been inspired by the work we are doing within IoT, you can join us and be part of it. So go and check out our latest opportunities on our careers site.